Don't believe everything they tell you about Venezuela. A few days ago, on April the 30th, this man, Juan Guaido, and his friend, Leopoldo Lopez, tried to get into an Air Force base named La Carlota. And they failed in their attempt because they didn't have the proper connections with the army. With this man, the main officer of the Venezuelan army, his name is Padrino. Padrino and all his generals are loyal to President Maduro. Maduro, the same way that his predecessor Chavez, Maduro follows his steps. Chavez established a system in Venezuela where more than 11 million poor people have access to water, electricity, medications, food, education. And this man, Leopoldo Lopez, he has tried since 2002 to gain control, to be a president of Venezuela using force, using friends of his group, the opposition group named Voluntad Popular, using what they call nowadays La Guarimba. La Guarimba are these people, these thugs, financed by the opposition group in Venezuela, hired to create chaos, to kill, to destroy. This happened a few days ago on April the 30th. At this time, they were trying to gain control of the Air Force La Carlota, which they failed because the armed forces in Venezuela are loyal to Maduro. Although President Trump has tried since 2018 to create all types of sanctions against Venezuela, what has kept Maduro president of Venezuela is the loyaltiness of his armed forces. Nowadays in the United States, in Washington, there is a group of people from Code Pink protecting the embassy because Guaido, who feels he is the president of Venezuela because of Article 233 from the Constitution, because Guaido and his people are saying that Maduro, he was elected president last year in May through fraud, because Guaido's people chose as a strategy not to go to elections. And that's why they're saying that Maduro won this election in a fraudulent form, in a fraudulent manner. This group in Washington, Code Pink, feels that since the president nowadays in Venezuela is Maduro, Guaido's people, ambassadors elected by Guaido, shouldn't have access to this embassy.
You stand by no intervention, and yet you intervene in my country's affairs. You take my building.
And they want their phony ambassador, who claims to be representing Venezuela, in this embassy to further on the cause of a coup. A coup is going to result in a bloodbath.
What people are telling the world is that Maduro is a president who has more than 30 million people in Venezuela living in hunger. That all what's happening in Venezuela is 100% his fault. For instance, they're not telling you that in 2015 the prices of petroleum, of oil, they went down. As you can see, the Brent prices and the WTI went as low as $25 for a barrel of oil from Venezuela. For a barrel of oil from one of the countries in the world with the largest reserves in oil. But they're saying that all is Maduro's fault. And these sanctions and this manipulation of the foreign currency is what Leopoldo López and Guaidó love to see, because under these circumstances they feel it's easy to gain control, to be president of Venezuela. I hope people from the United States take a look at what really is happening in Venezuela. Because these people from the opposition, Guaidó and Leopoldo López, are telling the world that they have to bring down Maduro as a corrupt president so that this man, who is not corrupt, can gain control of Venezuela. This man, without experience, who knows very little about economics, he's telling the Venezuelans that with his help, he's going to send Venezuela to be a prosperous country. But think that more than 11 million people in Venezuela are very poor. The same in your country. More than 40 million people are poor. And we see pictures and films and YouTube videos. We see these people in California living on the streets, living on the sidewalks. Poverty is what's the main concern in Venezuela. And all these sanctions from President Trump, all these sanctions coming from some European countries and countries in Latin America, are not only sanctions directed to attack the economy of the people in power in Venezuela, but these sanctions are affecting deeply the economy of people in Venezuela, of more than 11 million people that nowadays are really suffering. And this crisis created by Guaidó and Leopoldo López cannot go any longer. It's time for President Trump to let the Venezuelans have control of their country. It's time for President Trump to let the economy of Venezuela grow, not as it is right now with all these sanctions. United States is not even buying one drop of oil from Venezuela because of President Trump. I hope to continue talking to you in a very few days about what's happening in Venezuela. I hope you all have a good day. Today is Sunday, in the company of your families. Bye-bye.